right, good morning everyone. It is Holly King, Wild Kingdom Wellness here. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Last week was not so good, but I survived it, so we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But today is Monday. It is June the 30th, 2025. I did look in my witchy almanac today to see where the moon was, and the moon is in Virgo today. So we are going into a full moon in Capricorn on July the 15th. So in another 16 days, we're going to enter into a full moon cycle. But today, the moon is in the sign of Virgo. And so what do we want to work on today? Well, we want to work on our body because Virgo is very serious about you taking care of your physical body. Virgo is an earth sign of the zodiac. So if you really want to get serious about things like, fitness, maybe you want to cut your hair, you want to color your hair, you want to wear a different color makeup today, you want to do something that will shine the beautiful light of Virgo energy onto your body. So I have found in my own personal practice that when the moon is in Virgo, I tend to work more with my digestive system. It's just something that I have picked up on over the last 6, 7, 8 years. As far as like really focusing in on food and diet. Ironically, this morning I am in the middle of eating my apple, so which brings me to last week. So a lot of you all who follow me on social media and let's say Facebook, clients, different people in my life know that last week I was on vacation, but I wasn't at the beach. I wasn't doing anything fun. I was on a medical outpatient vacation and I was scheduled to get a colonoscopy. Yep, you got it, y'all. We're going to talk about the poop chute for a minute, okay? Okay, so my particular situation has been over the last few years, my body, my digestive system gets a little out of whack when I don't treat it right, such as eat too many cookies, put too many carbs in my body late at night, get in bed at night, want to do some binge eating while I'm watching some YouTube, which I'm, very fond of. But over the last few years, I have noticed that I'm always kind of swollen in the tummy area. I don't have a lot of gas and bloating. It comes and goes. It just kind of depends on what I eat. But I know that I need to add more protein and more fiber into my diet. And I'm probably I used to be an 80-20 rule girl, meaning I would eat 80% clean and then 20% of my diet, I would just eat junk food, whatever I wanted. But the last probably 1.5 to 2 years, to be perfectly honest and transparent, it's probably been more like a 50-50 rule. So I have gotten on this hamster wheel of wanting to eat sweets at night, cheesecakes, cookies. My favorite cookie on the planet is, if you're familiar with the area that I'm from in Louisville, Kentucky, Heitzman's Bakery's no-bake cookies. I cannot resist a no-bake cookie if my life depended on it. So I love no-bake cookies. I love decadent desserts. I absolutely adore, chocolate, things like that. So at night when I get home from work, it's usually after 7 o'clock. Sometimes it's after 8 o'clock. And because I have not had a full meal during the day, I'll go to work and I'll snack all day. I'll drink things like kombucha. I'll drink protein shakes. I'll go over to the Whole Foods bar and get, salad, things like that, apples. I really try not to eat a whole lot during work hours because as a massage therapist, you don't want to be sitting there at the massage table with your client and you're in a food coma, right? And the last thing you want to do is drool on your client or fall asleep. That would be grounds for dismissal if you ask me. And it actually is at the clinic that I work at. But y'all, I do really well all day long. And then when I get home, there's 2 issues that I'm dealing with as far as dealing with my emotional eating and the psychology behind why I might eat what I eat when I eat it. I come home from work. I've not had one of those really good sit-down meals, meaning that I wasn't able to have a balanced diet and spend good quality time chewing my food during the day. So I struggle with coming home at night and just wanting to like raid the refrigerator and eat anything that is a piece of chicken, grilled chicken. My husband likes to cook for me at night late, which is another issue. And I've had this conversation with him about boundaries multiple times, but where I am struggling is that my husband's love language, y'all, is feeding me. He loves to cook for me. He's the type of guy that'll go all day long, maybe won't eat anything, have a couple cups of coffee. He works out in a hot, sweaty, construction zone. And then when he gets home, he's hangry too, right? But he's like kind of a little different than me because he gets to come home at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Where when I'm coming home, because I get a later start during the day in my shift, like it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night and I'm hangry. And then I just raid the refrigerator, and by the time I eat, I'm so freaking tired from doing body work all day that I go to bed. Or I don't want to talk. I don't want to have, intimate conversations. My husband and I are very, when we come home from work, we're physically exhausted, okay? And it's okay. Like that's most people. That is the norm. If you are a middle class working citizen in America, even if you're high class, like you still might be very hangry when you get home from work. So that is what has screwed me up now for the last few years as far as not allowing my body to have that rest and digest period in between the time that I lay my butt down and go to sleep and then turn around and get back up at, say, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's kind of my hamster wheel routine. So I've noticed that like I sleep good, but it's probably because I just ate 500 calories and carbs. And then by 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing what I know about Ayurvedic food cycles and medicine, like my liver has kicked in. And basically my liver has been like, F you, bitch, biatch. I'm trying to keep this, PG rated, y'all. But it's like, what are you doing? Like now I gotta like kick on and kick in and try to figure out how to burn this fuel that you've put into my body, all the while knowing that if I would have eaten the fiber and all the food in the daytime, during the day, to help me feel satiated, right? Full, F-U-L-L, full, then I would not be dealing with this chronic gastrological pain that I'm dealing with. And I'm sure I would have dropped 20 pounds by now, knowing that I need to drop 20 pounds around the middle. You can't see it, and I'm not going to stand up right now. But I know I need to reduce the amount of inflammation that's in my gut. So last week I had taken off for a week. I was like, you know what? I got some vacation time to burn. I hadn't had more than 2 or 3 days off in a row in probably 2 years, to be quite honest. Maybe one time in the last 2 years I've taken like 2 or 3 days off in a row. I don't take long vacations because, one, it financially impacts me to take a long vacation. 2, I'm too freaking tired by the time I take vacation to go anywhere. And 3, well, the last 3 to 5 years of actually getting on a plane and going to travel, they charge you for everything. They charge you for every bag. You got to pay these enormous rates for hotel bills, and just to get away and have somebody take care of my cats. My husband doesn't like to travel. Like, I just haven't had the time or energy to say, you know what, I need a tried and true vacation here, right, as a human being. And one of the funny things that I put out there publicly onto my social media feeds is I honestly would rather spend the money on tattoos than vacation. And I'm kind of a staycation type of girl. I love my city. I like to find interesting things to do when I'm off work. But I have found, y'all, that I am finding that I am out of balance when it comes to my food regulation and the time and energy that I have to be able to spend on myself to decompress away from social media. I hate to say it, and I'm going to say it like this, y'all. I am definitely a problem solver, And every time I turn around, somebody is emailing me, messaging me, asking me for an appointment, asking me what I think about, and the list is like huge, which I'm honored. I am so blessed that people come to me and they're like, Holly, what do you think about this particular situation? It might be politics, it might be wellness, it might be massage, it might be injury work, it might be healthcare, it might be resources, for people who are looking for good therapy. I have become, a bit of a hub in my circles, especially on social media. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I have built my life in the way that my life has been built. Does that make sense? So because I put myself out there, because I tout myself as a Reiki master, a massage therapist, I'm always in books, I'm always learning, I'm always taking, self-help certification classes to better myself as a holistic practitioner. And at the same time, y'all, like I do my own spiritual work. So before y'all even started watching this video, I've already been up. Let's see, it is almost 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here where I'm at today on Monday. I've been up doing like tarot card readings for myself, cleaning the cat litter box, mopping floors, doing laundry, sitting outside, watching the stars set, meaning that I've been outside on my porch drinking coffee, and I went back to caffeinated, by the way, just FYI. But I do a lot of stuff. So what I am going to focus on as I move forward in my own personal wellness journey is learning how to become even more accountable to what I put in my body than I have been in the last, say, 52 years of my life. Because the last thing I want to end up with, y'all, is chronic pain, arthritis, colon cancer, which, praise the Lord, my colon was clear of cancer. But I had a hard time this past week actually going through the prep because I know that my gut had, how they say you probably have 5 to 10 pounds of backed up poop, poop, the stuff that comes out of your body in your poop chute. Most people, if you're overweight by 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 pounds, at least, y'all, 10 pounds of that is probably stuck in your small and your large intestines. Okay? And that's a fact. That's just like common sense now. If you are an American and you live, in America and you've been eating these high inflammatory processed foods for the last 30 or 40 years of your life. So I grew up in the 70s and 80s as a kid. My entire diet consisted of processed and microwave foods. It wasn't until I was of age about 38 when I saw inside of our healthcare system, I saw the cost and I saw, the claims, the trends that were going on. And for those of you all that don't know, I used to hold a Kentucky state license for life and health insurance. So what that means is I had access to premium versus claims in the medical system, and I got into I would dig into these reports, these biometrical reports, right? And go, oh my gosh, this particular group, small group, large group, whatever, they're spending, let's just say, $10,000 on healthcare, which is probably per minute. But back then it's like, okay, Sally works at XYZ company. She's paid in $9,000 in healthcare premiums this year through her group health plan. But she had 3 surgeries, and so her expenses were, let's say, $20,000. Well, that's an $11,000 deficit, y'all. So for 15 years, that's what I did, is I analyzed, and I analyzed, and I analyzed, and I analyzed our healthcare dollars, the spend, and the trends. And in 2013, when the Obamacare Healthcare Reform Act came out, I had already been in that industry almost 14 years, and I said, "Oh shit, this is a Titanic. We cannot, as human beings, sustain, our healthcare system in this way." And here we are, over 10 years later, and I'm just shaking my head where I left my corporate job and said, I want to get involved in wellness because people need to know that there are alternative ways for you to gain back your power, okay? And I'm not being, silly here, but the human beings in America especially need to start taking back their voice and their power when it comes to their health and wellness, and understand what the marketability is like in our private sector of healthcare, because all of it's out of control. And so, before I go down another rabbit hole and start talking about healthcare spending from a political, economical, World Health Organization standpoint, because I'm kind of qualified to talk about all of it, I want to talk about this apple that I've been munching on for the last 20 minutes, right? So that I, as a practitioner of wellness, can have some good stuff in my body, regardless of whether or not this was treated with pesticides. I don't know. It's out of control, y'all. Even organic isn't organic anymore. So maybe, yes, it had some pesticides on it to keep the bugs off of it, so that by the time the farmer picked it off the tree and put it in the bushel, and then he took it to, the market, and the market said, we're going to mark it up, and it got into my grocery cart, and then I scanned it with a little scanner because it had a little barcode on it, and then all of a sudden I brought it home in my little plastic bag, and then I put it in my refrigerator, and now here we are on Monday, June the 25th, and I was able to munch on this apple this morning. But for me, who's always busy and in a hurry, eating one apple, if you're really going to eat an apple and chew it up good so that it affects your digestive system in a positive light, you gotta eat it slow. So, that's really all I wanted to say this morning, is that I love you all. I got a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm super excited about where this new wellness journey business is going. So if you want to know more about what's going on in my world and watch things unfold in real time, y'all, then make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel, Wild Kingdom Wellness. Click like so that the algorithm likes me, and share this video with somebody, y'all. Somebody who needs to hear the good news that you don't have to die in chronic pain, stress, and anxiety. It is about getting things under control and finding help, asking for help. Help me. Find yourself a good wellness coach, okay? And if you're curious about what I do for a living, reach out to me. I can be located through social media through The Reiki Station, REIKISTATION. The Reiki Station is the name of my business, Wild Kingdom Wellness Coaching. So you can Google those on your social media feeds, and also at hollykingwellness@gmail.com. So drop a comment below if you've enjoyed this video. Share with me. Comment below what you had for breakfast today, y'all, because I'm on my second breakfast. My first breakfast, what did I have? Oh, I had some beans this morning, about 4 o'clock this morning. I made some bean pepper hummus mousse. And so I had a tablespoon of that this morning as I was cleaning my house and doing my chores. So that's me in a nutshell. Subscribe. So I love you. Remember to live the dream. And again, the moon is in Virgo today, y'all. Take care of your bodies. We'll see you later. All right. Have a great day. Bye.